The Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò of Yoruba land, Gani Adams, says the federal government's attempt to criminalize the case of Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Igboho is undemocratic. Adams says the plan could make the government an enemy of the people. He's calling for Igboho's case to be handled fairly. He says the demands for self-determination are a result of injustice, nepotism, and corruption. Well-armed policemen have dispersed supporters of Igboho who staged a protest in Ibadan against his arrest. The protesters marched on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway singing and carrying placards. The demonstrators are asking the international community to help release Igboho. Police officers reportedly arrived in vans and dispersed those present. And calls are growing for Benin to grant Igboho asylum instead of extraditing him to Nigeria. Campaigners say he will not be guaranteed safety or justice if returned.
All right, let's bring in Arise analyst Mahmud Jega. Mahmud, glad to have you join us. Are these commentaries going ahead of commentators rather? Do you think they're going ahead of themselves by saying Igboho won't get justice if tried in Nigeria? Do you agree or disagree with what they are saying?
Well, at least Nigeria has been liberal democratic for 21 years now, and there are all kinds of provisions and safeguards to guarantee free trial. But in practice, of course, all kinds of things can happen. But that does not mean people who are accused of crimes should not have their day in court because of the imperfections of the legal order in Nigeria. So the charges that the DSS is making was that when they raided his house, they found a cache of weapons. And they even said that some of those weapons were thought to have been snatched from customs officers at the Iroko border. Now, that's a very serious charge, despite all the other politics around it. If somebody is caught with weapons, don't forget the president was even saying the security agency should shoot anybody they see with an AK-47. And they saw piles of them in his house. That's a fairly serious charge, and he should have his day in court.
Yeah, well, the politics around it all seems to be the bone of contention. As far as Igboho is concerned, Republic of Benin authorities are saying, according to Article 20 of the African Charter on Human Rights, human and people's rights, it says agitations for self-determination are protected by nations, including Nigeria, that's actually a signatory to that charter. What exactly do you think this is playing out here?
Well, of course, if the Nigerian authorities request for extradition from Benin Republic, they will not be talking about his campaign for Yoruba Nation. They will say that weapons were found in his house and we want to try him. And you see, Benin Republic has a history of handing over people to Nigeria. I don't think they can resist that. If you remember, in 2003, President Obasanjo actually closed the borders with Benin Republic in order to force them to hand over Hamani Tijani, the cross-border criminal, and they did, and he even died in Kirikiri prison. So I don't think Benin Republic can easily refuse a request from the Nigerian government to hand over because of the power relations between the two
Gani Adams says the government is trying to criminalize Igboho's case. So as far as he is concerned, and so many others, including, so many, civil society groups, have been making comments that he has not committed any crime.
Well, the government is accusing him of stockpiling weapons. That's a very serious crime.
Okay.
All right, let me take you up on what Joe Okeodumakin says. He says the government is treating terrorists and bandits with kid gloves, but using sledgehammer on law-abiding citizens. Is she painting a correct picture?
I don't think so. I don't think one can describe either Nnamdi Kanu or Igboho as what you call law-abiding citizens. And also, I don't think it is entirely correct to say that the government has been treating insurgents and bandits with kid gloves. I mean, it has been bombing them with aeroplanes and has recently acquired Super Tucanos to bomb the insurgents. The fact that the government has been unable to suppress either the insurgents or the bandits. I think it's not because it was treating them with kid gloves, but it has been unable so far to really suppress them.
Well, the Nigerian government, in the case of Kanu's abduction, actually say his repatriation was not illegal. It wasn't even an abduction, that it was done legally. But of course, in the case of Igboho, we've not really heard much, if anything, from the Nigerian government. Kanu's lawyer is saying that the DSS, in whose custody Nnamdi Kanu is, they're not allowing him to sign the papers that would allow the British consulate to, provide him consular support, since, I mean, he's, partly a British citizen. Will this further fuel the notion that the Nigerian government is deliberately isolating Kanu from, getting that support?
Well, I think I heard the lawyer saying that, and I really don't see why the DSS should not allow consular access since he has British citizenship. Let the British consul officials see him, determine his condition, help, communication, offer any advice they can. That's what consular services means. It doesn't mean they are going to snatch him and take him to Britain. So I don't really see any reason. It's the same thing as allowing the lawyer and family members to have access to any detained person.
All right. Let's talk just very briefly. Gani Adams claims that government is criminalizing his case and says his maltreatment, that's according to Gani Adams, may lead to war. What do you make of that war statement?
Well, it's an irresponsible statement to make because there are tens of thousands of people who have been detained in Nigeria, and I don't think we should talk lightly about war because of the detention of any one
But it
person.
seems to some people that the government is making heroes out of the people that government says are essentially villains.
It's a difficult situation. If you are in
30
government,
seconds.
you will get contradictory advice. Some will say, leave these things for political reasons. Some will say it is precisely because of that problems linger and get out of hand.
Mahmud Jega, thank you very much, Rise News analyst, for joining us.